This is the Radio Button Network. And this is the new Ace at Large podcast. Now, your host, Ace.
Normally, this is where I would tell you, welcome to the frantic rantings of a lunatic madman. Unless I'm right in here, I'm always right. But obviously, things are a little different these days since the last time we were here with the Ace at Large podcast. There's only been one since the end of July, and that one was for my daughter. So obviously, my world is a little different than the last time there was an Ace at Large podcast. And because of that, who and what I am as a person is a little bit different, and that means the Ace at Large podcast is going to be a little bit different. But we'll get to that as we go along. Just so you know, in case you've somehow missed it, it was actually 3 months ago, 12 weeks ago today, that my daughter died.
This Mooresville woman's life ended much too soon. Peyton Cannon died in a crash just 3 days ago. Peyton's dad is Ace from the popular Ace and TJ radio show.
My 21-year-old daughter, her name is Peyton. And things are different in my world these days. No matter how you want to approach it or how you want to look at it or how you want to try to pretend that your life is normal, I hate the expression, the new normal, when it comes to things like COVID, because that's dumb. I think that's kind of giving up on going back to life as it used to be. And you can't do that. But in this case, when something this permanent happens, there are moments in life where you take on a new normal. And the new normal for me and my fiance Amanda, my ex-wife Shawnette, my son Cade, and all of our family and friends, our new normal is the fact that we are going through life without one person who brought so much life into our lives, if that makes any sense. So as we go through the next few minutes, will explain to you why the Ace at Large podcast is going to become something different. It's going to become something I believe to be rather unique, and hopefully something that is very helpful to me as much as it is to you as we go forward. I've learned a lot over the course of the past 3 weeks or 3 months. Number one, I'm just reminded of something. I haven't learned it because I always knew it, but every now and then y'all come up and do something that just blows my mind. And I've learned that y'all, as the Ace and TJ radio family and people who listen to the Ace at Large podcast, y'all are phenomenal. And I've said it on the radio. In case you haven't heard it, please take this to heart now. The people who have sent messages, and literally there are thousands of messages. I still haven't made it through all of them. Sometimes it's just too difficult. Sometimes I have a hard time just completing tasks these days. But I've seen them all at least. I'm aware that they're there. I haven't gotten on the hundreds of cards and thousands of direct messages and messages in general on the show's Facebook and mine and my social media and everything. Y'all are just amazing. And we have felt the love and your kind thoughts and your prayers. And to be honest with you, it's carried us for so many days. But what I've come to learn as much as anything else is the fact that when I talk about this and my experience on the radio, which I've tried to do sparingly because I don't want it to be a downer, because that's not why you come to the Ace and TJ show. But when I talk about this experience and what it's like as I learn to live life differently without my daughter, what I've learned is that we're all going through something, whether it's the loss of a loved one or a divorce or a problem in your relationship or dealing with alcoholism, whatever the case may be, we're all going through something. And I have had a therapist since 2015, I guess, when I started going to 2014, late 2014, when I started going to see a therapist trying to, salvage my marriage, to be quite honest with you. And still have the same therapist. She's a wonderful lady. And while talking with her recently, I was talking about, what do I do now? And my goal is to somehow make something positive out of this situation. As I told everybody when I did the eulogy for my daughter, like, this can't be for nothing. Like, this can't all be for nothing. She can't just die and then nothing good come out of it to help people. So why are we here? We're here because, quite honestly, one of the reasons we're here is because my therapist told me that you're an extrovert, and extroverts talk about things, and that's how they feel better, and that's how they release these feelings and these ideas and these things that burden them. So that's one of the reasons we're here. Yes, I want this to be good for you, but quite honestly, it's really being done because it's good for me. That's kind of the root of this, is that this is what I need to do to feel better about my situation and what we're going through. But also, I've learned that from what I've learned from you, and when I talk about this on the radio, the response that I get from people, I hope this becomes a forum for all of us to not feel alone. So rather than me coming on here like I used to do with the Ace at Large podcast and share some, not saying there won't be fun stuff or interesting stuff or the kind of stuff that we used to do, I want this to become something different that's really helpful to people, that we can all, whether we're going through a bad time or not, learn something. Because you can never stop learning as you go through life. And if you're not having a bad time now, you're probably going to have one later in life, or you've definitely been through one. And maybe there's something that could come out of this that could be constructive for all of us in our lives, whether it be as people, as parents. Maybe, just maybe, something positive comes out of this. And I'll give you an example. Just the other day, I just happened to mention on the radio that this week was an odd week for me from the standpoint of, obviously, today, the 29th of October, is 3 months to the day since my daughter died. And it's exceptionally odd because today just so happens to be the day that my fiance Amanda and Peyton were to fly together to Las Vegas for a type of, like, a bachelorette weekend. Peyton had never been to Las Vegas. It was one of her gifts for her 21st birthday, was this trip to Vegas. Now, Vegas isn't Vegas right now. There's not as much going on in Vegas as normal, but still, it's exciting when you're 21 to be going to Vegas for a bachelorette weekend, so to speak. And so now that's obviously not happening. And it's brings an odd tone into your life when something you expected is not happening the way you had planned. But I was just mentioning on the radio how life is weird this week, and I'm trying to work extra hard to be not just kind, but to try to keep Amanda's spirits up, because it was a big week for her, and it's a huge loss for her. Peyton was to be the maid of honor in our wedding in January. And I was just sharing the stuff, and I always go back to something my mom told me when I was little, that whatever you're going through, no matter what you're doing, my mom always said, all you have to do is keep putting one foot in front of the other. Some days you'll go faster than other days, but keep putting one foot in front of the other. And there was a lady that sent me a message earlier this week, Tuesday afternoon, that said, that reminded her of something someone told her once. All you really have to do is say, when you think, I can't make it one more minute, and then you realize, I just did. And if you just keep doing that over and over, you're going to keep moving farther and farther away from what it is that's making your life miserable. And I was just talking about how it's important to never give up. You can never give up. You always, no matter what, have to keep trying and moving forward in life. And how it doesn't mean it's going to be easy, because if you missed it, I was sharing these two stories. Saturday, I was up at 4:30 in the morning watching the movie Moneyball, because I don't sleep well these days. And I was just up watching Moneyball, that I love, with Brad Pitt, a story about Billy Bean. And at the end of the movie, I had completely forgotten, because I've probably seen this movie 5 times. I had completely forgotten that the very last 2 minutes, 3 minutes of the movie, Brad Pitt puts in a CD in his truck, because the movie is set in the early 2000s, of his daughter playing a little song on the guitar for him. And, in that moment, I collapsed and I fell apart, and I was literally laying on my couch crying so hard and so loud that I had to take a pillow and put it over my face because I didn't want to wake Amanda up, and she was upstairs asleep. And then Sunday, we're watching The Sixth Sense. And again, seen it before, totally forgot that at the end of the movie, the boy has a discussion with his mom when his mom comes to understand what it is he can see. And he begins to talk to his mom about her mother who has died. Something in that caused the same thing to happen again. Point being, when those incidents ended, you had to get up and go on about your day. By 5 o'clock on Saturday morning, I wasn't going to just lay there and cry the rest of the day. I got up, went about my business, went to the gym, and ended up having a good day out of it. Sunday, after that was over, we went back to doing other stuff and kept moving forward, one foot in front of the other. And a guy sent me a message, and I won't say his name because he probably wouldn't want me to, but he said, hey, man, he DM'd me on Facebook. Hey, man, I wanted to drop a line to let you know that I have no idea. I know you have no idea who I am. And I've commented a few times on things in the show here and there, but I wanted to let you know I'm a veteran who struggled a little bit with behavioral issues and things of that nature, behavioral health issues, since my return from Iraq in 2008 and 2009. I watched some of your YouTube videos about your daughter and also the service for your daughter. Long story short, I've chosen substances and other things to try to cope with my issues and fought those demons for the past 9 years. I also have a 9-year-old daughter who I love with all my heart, and the way you spoke is the way I feel about my daughter. But I just wanted to tell you, thank you, because yesterday you gave me the inspiration to try harder, to do better, to get more help. And I figure it out for my daughter, because I love her the way you love your daughter. And I just wanted to thank you for your words and your love for your daughter, because it's saving our relationship. And the first thing I responded back with was, well, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to that. That's incredible. And as much as I know that makes me feel good, as if we're doing something positive to help people, I know that it would make Peyton feel really good to know that somehow our relationship will help other people. So I promise a couple of things. One, that I'm not going to cry in every episode. I hope much, but I'm a crier. And number two, I hope that as we go forward, we find a way to not feel alone and to figure out a way to share in things and share with each other things that help us through these difficult times. And our difficult times won't all be the same. And our difficult reasons won't all be the same. But there's a commonality to how people feel, I find, in these situations. And there are some shared emotions that people have when going through whatever it is: divorce, death, relationship issues, alcoholism. And somehow I hope as we go forward, this can be that place that you can turn to, and this can be that place that you can share, and this becomes a place that will help heal all of us in some way. And quite honestly, mainly me. So I really don't know right now what that will look like or sound like, and I really don't know exactly when that is going to be. But what I do know is I will try my very best to present this to you in some form as soon as possible. But it just seemed appropriate on this day, with as many things as are going on circulating around my daughter's death, what this day was supposed to be and what this day, sad anniversary that it's turned out to be, that I wanted you to know that your response to me has been so moving and so touching that it's made me want to do more. And if I can do a little bit more and you can do a little bit more, then maybe we can really all come together and make something very positive come out of this. So that's where we are. That's why we'll be here from this point forward. And I hope that we can find a way to improve ourselves and to help others improve all at the same time. Feel free. You can always DM me on Facebook. It's David Ace Cannon. On Instagram, it's Ace at Large. Snapchat, Ace at Large. Just feel free. Send me a message. Like I said before, look, I'm not an expert. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a guy who's going through a lot of stuff. And quite honestly, in life, I have gone through a lot of stuff. A lot of which y'all know about: divorce, death of my father, death of my daughter, parents who divorced, a lot of which you don't know about. But all I know is you have been here and been there for me throughout all of these things. And I hope that I can now be here for you to help all of us feel better about our situation and all of us be able to move forward in a positive direction and not just improve ourselves, but help others around us improve at the same time. That's it. So I'm no expert. I'm just a guy who's trying to, in a way, fulfill his daughter's destiny. And I hope we can do that together, just putting one foot in front of the other every day. I don't know when the next Ace at Large is going to be, and quite honestly, I'm not even sure what it's going to be like. But today seemed like the day that I wanted to share what's coming in the future, I hope. Again, Instagram, Snapchat, at Ace at Large. Facebook, it's David Ace Cannon. And I would love to hear from you, good, bad, or otherwise. So I'll see you maybe next week, maybe not, but I'll let you know when something's coming. All right? I hope to hear from you.
This is the new Ace at Large podcast.